Hello everybody, welcome to Tuesday's first video. This one is all about Fantastic Force tier list of some of the best attackers that you could choose, whether you want to rank them up, use them in various different pieces of content. Why? Funny you should say that. I was kind of like wondering like why, what's the kind of relevance to do a tier list like this? You're going to have to like, you know, walk with me on this journey for the love of God. Yeah, so some of the all of the champions that are Saga boost champions, and as well those that benefit from that secret Saga based boost in certain pieces of content. By the way, that secret Saga boost is only applicable to side quests, and I think event quests, but I'm pretty certain it's definitely, yes it is, events and side quest for the special boost. So it just amplifies their attacking base kind of prowess. Not prowess, they don't get prowess. Unless you take some of them in Incursions, but I'm talking about the damage potential. Alliance War Attack, Battlegrounds Attack, Raids Attack, Alliance Quest, Incursions, Event Quests, Side Quests, Arenas. All these areas, these particular champions that are going to be mentioned are going to benefit from the boost. Some champions from the Saga are actually in the Titan Crystal, the recently updated Titan Crystal, of which I still need to open up some. Hopefully I get to open up 3 next week as I take a little bit of a break again. And if for whatever reason we get any kind of rank up gems, and again this is important because if you are investing into the in-game Fantastic Force-based bundles event that we've got currently on board, then this may be your opportunity to go, hey, some of these champions are actually going to be beneficial to help me out down the way. And even if we get like a tie-in type thing, which you can see right here, like there's lots of Fantastic Force Valiant crystals, rank up gems, signature stones, at least some of this may give you a bit of perspective of, well, I spent this, or say there's special Saga based rank up gems towards, I don't know, next month, month after, or something in Incursions, let's say. At least you can make some decisions of these champions can make a difference. Oh, they're highly rated within the community. Rich did a tier list. I don't agree with it, but there are some that he got right and some he got wrong. How this is going to work is I'm going to fill out one of the brackets and then talk a little bit about why I've made those choices, and let's just get right into it. Starting with why not F? Well, it's just a bit too cruel for someone. I could literally put one champion in F, but screw it, I'll do it. F is filled out with Invisible Woman, E is filled out with Super Scroll. They're just, yeah. I don't really need to explain, I said I'd explain stuff, but from an attacking perspective, Invisible Woman does not cut it, okay? Yes, there's more defensive-based applications for the champion than there is attacking-based applications for the champion. Super Scroll is kind of in the same boat. He's good, he does some elements of damage. That's pretty much it. I think they'll get a buff at some stage, but at the moment in time, nobody's using them. If more people were using them, I suspect I'd probably eat my words, but they're not. So now we're into the very tricky and weird situation of D going all the way up to S. And there are some ones that I'm sure people will go, well, I use my Captain Marvel. There's 100% decent usage for Captain Marvel. It's just that the people that say they use Captain Marvel use it specifically and not as regularly. And the same thing I think could be said for the regularity of use of. Mojo, who I've used like a bit, but then stopped using, and I've seen other people as well use for a bit. It's a specific champion that you have to get. Oh, is it Incursions Crystal or is it the Alliance Wars one? It's one of the like rare ones to get. But once you've kind of like built the champion, got the champion, you're then kind of questioning yourself of, oh, okay, well now what am I doing with said champion? And people do use the champion. I've seen a lot of times Mojo be used in defense, but then a lot of people are countering that with Spider Ham. Any science really is used against it. So you're kind of going, right, it's not, then becomes lower down the pecking order of interest. And the same thing largely for Mangog, but we're not talking about defense, Rich. You're absolutely right. From an attacking sense, Captain Marvel could indeed be upgraded further up, but Mangog, as well as an attacking element or attacking side, it's just not there. There are some good things about Mangog, but it's just from an attacking sense, it's just like, well, a lot of the time people will choose more trickier, more higher hitting damage Mystic champions. And I personally like Immortal Abomination, and recently the champion has had this kind of slight improvement to him. But I don't know necessarily if it's giving people the idea that they want to actually rank up the champion any further. And as I said, I should really have upgraded Captain Marvel to C or higher, but because a lot of people have the champion, it's just people aren't using that from an attacking side of things. Most of the ones you're going to see like CB, A, and S are champions that people have used and are using more regularly, or could have a bit more punch, especially going to things like Incursion. There's so many champions now that I've put into C. Like, we've got Silver Surfer here. Silver Surfer has this life of its own, and very much is in this kind of midway point. If you say to a lot of like high-end, like skilled players and go, hey, do you use your Silver Surfer? A lot of them will say yes, right? Then if you ask like people like lower skilled and say, do you use Silver Surfer in an attacking format? They'll go, no. It's so weird at times. Like, I've seen people do amazing things, like I think Karate Mike's done a video with Silver Surfer. I think that Metal Sonic Dude's done something with Silver Surfer. And it's definitely like a champion that all of a sudden comes out, and not comes out, but kind of like comes up as a recurring option of attack. I've used Mordo, 7-star Mordo, in some weird content at times, and it's been like quite cool to ramp up because you just charge a heavy attack and get those Fury buffs. And that's great, and that could be interesting to utilize within, say, Incursions. But from the other side of things, it's like, well, do I actually need to? It's not really kind of a champion I'd look to use. On the other options though, Penny Parker. Yeah, Penny Parker is a very strange one. I definitely saw for a time a real usage for Penny Parker. I had a rank 4, you can see it's a 6-star, and I won't be doing anything more. I won't be putting up to rank 5. I did like her signature ability, and if you're new to the game and looking for a like extended option to improve an ability, having a little bit of a heal block off the back of having an awakening her, she's actually really good. I would like to get her some stage 7-star. It's just that there's a lot more, I'd say, interactable 7-star tech champions that I'm more interested in. Even some of the ones I've got. Lady Deathstrike 7-star. I've got Prowler as a 7-star. I want to get Bastion as a 7-star because he is incredible. So there's a lot of techs that kind of like supersede that particular champion. So a lot of the ones that I've mentioned, I've put dead in dead center, are largely built on that aspect. There is a bit of a weird one which I think could deserve a bit of a markdown, and that is going to be Odin. Odin is such... It's not a Marmite champion. Its intended purpose is so bizarre. A lot of the time he's just used for pre-fights. This is why I kind of put this kind of middle of the road for him, because it's just, again, people either use him for pre-fights or they use him for attack. And that's the big kind of like question mark around him. Another big question mark is around the leader. I can ask like 10 people and find that 10 people that are owners of, say, leader will say, 5 of them will say, I use the leader and I think he's a good champion. The other 5 that have him go, well, I'm not really interested in him as a science-based champion, and I'll use something else, and I'm not too interested with the mechanics. So it's very kind of like, it's a very different, it's very much like a Marmite type champion for the leader. Terex as well. A lot of these, I'd say, it's either people love them or they have a different purpose for them. They're still good, it's just the purpose is different, or they don't use them. Okay, next up is B. There are some very good champions here, and a lot of them are commonly used by players. Where, say, this like C was all about champions that people occasionally use, or not regularly use, but kind of, yeah, occasionally use. These ones are a bit more proactively used. Even though Warlock, and I love Warlock, I think he's fantastic. I'm a big believer of Awakening and trying to push the highest signature, which then puts it in a very difficult realm, because then people will kind of opt as a strong tech to other regions. But the access to a champion that has that it's not curse, sorry, it's techno-organic virus. What that does, easy access to power control, bleed off the heavy attack, SP2. The rotations for this champion mean that he can be like a really out of the box attacking option. You know, taking on Bullseye one time, you know, taking on strong mutants the other time, taking on science champions, you name it. And I think that he's very much one of those strong ones. Maybe I should have upgraded him to like an A, but he's definitely one of them. Spider-Man Supreme taking on champions that have buffs, like that is, again, just having that extra option, especially being a Spider-Verse based champion that can just be on your team if needs be, if a hashtag pops up. Not so great in the Wheel of Fate, where the option is either going to be, I think it's, she take on Human Torch, it's either Silk, it's a better option, but people do rave about the Spider Ham option. So if Human Torch had a load of buffs on him, hey, we'll be having a different story. However, taking a Mystic version against him, probably not advised, eh? So that's why I've gone for a lot of these champions here. Enchantress is good. It's just that, again, if you had an option of a team and you're like, okay, well, I've got a plan for something, it's still effective. A lot of people opt for the defense, but this is all about attack side of things. It's just some good enough damage, yes. Of course, Red Skull, very effective. We've got Superior Iron Man, Diablo. The people that like Diablo really love Diablo. And I can't put it in C because I've just seen so many times people are very, again, passionate about that champion, but more so for the usage. Sentry as well, since the buff, people are interested and like the rotation. Quicksilver's utility, once you build up enough of his momentum. Tigra, of course, a lot of W's for Tigra. Could be very much a C, kind of Marmite, some people like, some people don't. Mega Sentinel, 7-star recently of Rintrah. So that's the interest there in these Titan Crystal as well. Carolina Dean. Yeah, a lot of these are champions you'd see mentioned, and as well they are effective enough to be used. So who I've got for A and S, that's going to be it's going to be interesting ones. Can't really attest to Spider-Woman and Whacking Phoenix Falcon because I don't have those champions. From the times that I've been able to play some of the ones that I've highly rated, I could put my hand up and say there's a little bit of bias for me because they are some ones that I like highly rate because I have them at a high rank. I mean, you can see them right now. Doctor Doom, of course, is my go-to option and has been like a solid option to access nullification and power control. Power control, so darn important in this day and age with MCOC. Unblockable SP1 power control. With the AI being as bad as it is, I do think that Doctor Doom is highly rated. Really want a 7-star. But I was overjoyed to learn that one of my other favourite champions, Gallon, has entered in as a 7-star. We're going to try and see next week if I can actually get that champion, but it's definitely one of these ones where I think that in Incursions it's going to be great. I mean, some of the things that he's able to do, the burst damage, whether it's incinerate rotations, it's SP1 rotations, it's build up to the harvest as quickly as possible based on how you want to do it. SP1 rotations for that, heavy attack, SP1 throw, or relic throw, then SP1. Hey, how you rotate, go for it. I love the champion because it's easy access to damage. Angela as well has always been a again stalwart in my roster for a very long time. Relevance always there, amazing in Incursions, and recently I've because I finally got the champion, that and the Ironheart Saga. If you've been following the channel, you know, trying to get future Ant-Man. Yeah, another kind of like fantastic champion I'm trying to use a bit more of, but there's a lot of champions that I really want to kind of like learn a bit more and play better, but then that's another story for another day. Scream recently, rank 3 7-star, used the champion in Epic of Pain, fantastic, really enjoyed the champion. Should make a video on this one, but that's another story for another day. It's fine, the time for it. A potential option that I'm going to be taking into Wheel of Fate, but I think I will opt to take Vox against Arcade as opposed to Scream. But yeah, I really enjoyed this champion, and there's a few more. So you can see from the list, I've put in Dark Phoenix, even though there's a bit of a paywall in order to access her. She's still very, very good, by the way. Morbius, Red Guardian. I'm sure some people will kind of like say something different about that, but I do think Red Guardian is a solid champion. I don't think I've got a 7-star version, but I would really like to get a 7-star version of that champion at some stage. That would be very, very beneficial. And of course the other two new champions, because again, what they utilize for taking on Enchantress, and I can't remember who's a very good counter against that, but anyway, Spider-Woman. And Kindred. Kindred is an underrated option for some fight, and bothers me I can't remember. But yeah, very, very good. So who have I put in the final tier? And there's not many. Finally, I've left myself with Hyperion, Bastion, Count Nefaria, Human Torch, Arnim Zola, and Nico Minoru. I'm sure some people will question Human Torch being there, and I'm definitely certain that people would question Bastion and Hyperion. Not so much Arnim Zola. Arnim Zola has, again, another revelation champion I definitely need to get, and I definitely want to get, but it's just can't. It's so difficult to get new champions if you don't spend in game. Hopefully I get lucky with the Titan Crystal. But Count Nefaria, and again, champion I really want it. I've got a 6-star version of Count Nefaria. He says, I'm now kind of like trying to have a look to see if I actually have a Count Nefaria. No, I don't have a Count. Damn it! This is going to be the future Ant-Man Saga and Ironheart Saga all over again. Especially like I have to like think about outside the box for Wheel of Fate. Let me tell you, that I'm not looking forward to that with that one. Anyway, yeah, really want a 6-star or a 7-star version of that champion. He is just fantastic. You've seen the footage. So you could go and search Wheel of Fate and see him just absolutely destroying. You can see most other content, him absolutely destroying. Fantastic in everything that he seems to go into. Except against maybe a skill-based champion or a skill-based champion going up against him in defense, but that's not the point. It's all about attack. So yeah, there's that one. Human Torch, because Human Torch is going to be a 7-star version at some stage, and we're going to see some upticks of damage. Let me say, he is just going to be incredible for that, and you're probably going to see him a bit more in attacking in Battlegrounds and other types of ones. Nico Minoru, I think, is a no-brainer as well. Again, so gutted with, not gutted, but kind of like it's sad at times trying to like access some of these champions, because we've seen the footage. You know, Caban put the footage out of Nico and what she does to absolutely destroy anything that's cosmic. This was why I'd put her if I had one, but I don't. And finally, Hyperion. Now, I don't know if anybody would. Look, Hyperion is another stalwart of a champion that you can always rely on. He is easy to play to access high damage, and one of the big things will be him being used in incursions. If it is going to be fantastic force-based champions, accessing SP1, like heavy attack rotations, degen based damage, proud degen, other stuff, accessing quick fury buff cornucopia. If we're talking debuff based damage, SP1, yeah, there we go. SP2, stun, increase the stun. I think that this Saga, he is just going to be a great option and a lot of fun at the same time. So a lot of things mixed into one. And that's been my tier list. You know, disagree with me, how you see fit. Hey, it's all good. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion and a bit of fun as well. Here on a Tuesday. Thank you very much for watching. What would be your top champions, your top 5 champions? Put it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.